Hello everybody, welcome back. Right, so I know I've already made a video once today and I might not get a chance to make one tomorrow, so basically I just want to let you know my plan. Okay, my plan is that I've decided that Bitcoin is probably bullish up until the halving, and I think that there's a chance, quite a strong chance now, that we're going to go up to around about 9,000 leading up to and basically being the halving. After the halving I think we're going to see a big pullback and then probably a cooling off period, maybe with a bit of a downtrend involved, and then we will start the ball rolling again and we'll start to go bullish for a longer period and more sustained period of time. So with that in mind, my plan now is to wait for this dip. There's going to be a dip, alright? The dip is coming. It could come any minute now. Definitely over the next couple of days there's going to be a dip. I'd be very surprised if we broke out from here, and if we did, it would, first of all, I'd be pretty annoyed because I'll have missed the move, but secondly, I think the downtrend that will happen after the halving will be deeper and more sustained. It'll be a worse downtrend. So what we want to see now is we want to see the downtrend take place now, give everybody an opportunity to get in, and then see where we go from there. Now it depends on how far down the dip is going to be. That's what we're going to have a look at now and give us maybe some clues as to where the dips are going to be across the board for some of these top coins, apart from Matic, which is obviously not a top coin, but it's a top coin on this channel, I can tell you that much. Right then, so most, if not all of this analysis is going to be based on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the precursor for all alts, really. So if Bitcoin does a big dip, all alts are going to take a big dip too. Everything's based around Bitcoin at the moment, apart from XRP, which is doing its own thing, and I suppose Matic and Chainlink. In fact, they're all doing their own thing, but you know what I mean. You know, you don't need to be in this space for 5 minutes to recognise that whatever Bitcoin does, the rest of the market does. So let's go to the 4-hourly chart, where we are basically basing a lot of this short-term time frame on with Bitcoin. So we've got this pitchfork tool in here, which is basically showing us that we're tailing off it now. I don't think that this is a bull flag. I think that we're finding rejection on several areas here. So we've got this long, big support and resistance level here, which we were resisted. We were basically rejected from all these times over here, and then when we launched above it, we had a nice big launch up there. It was a bit messy when you're looking on the 4-hourly chart, but basically the same thing happened here on support. We came back down, we were tailing down, we were breaking down quite significantly at this point, and then we had our last sort of area of resistance support here, where we found ourselves a nice little cushion for a couple of days before we couldn't take it anymore. So this is a very strong resistance line. On top of that, this pitchforks are never really that accurate, but it would appear that we're being nudged underneath into the second little zone here, the very last zone before it becomes a broken pattern. And on top of that, we have this downtrend here from this sort of descending channel that we had back here. I'm also putting this, I've extended this all the way over here just as a third little area, and you can see how they're all sort of converging in on each other over these next sort of 24 to 48 hours. Maybe 3 days or so, they're all going to be converging into this last little bit, meaning that the resistance levels are extremely strong and are more than likely to nudge it down and break the formation to the down temporarily. If for whatever reason though it does break above here, it will launch, and it will launch almost certainly to the top of this pitchfork, I would expect, before a rejection, and that would be sort of low 8,000s, 8,200 or so max. And if that's if it happens in the next few days, which I expect that it will, given what we're looking at here. So what I'm saying is, at this moment in time, the 4-hourly's got it. The 4-hourly's got a bearish diverged style RSI, which is slightly overbought back here, and it's cooling off on the 4-hourly. It's downtrending. Also, we've got our negative crosses on the MACD, still in bullish territory though. So I could, obviously this could flip round, no problem whatsoever, and cause a pump. But I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to break down from here. Where's it going to go then? So that's the main question. So the first and most obvious choice would be that it would come down to the bottom of the pitchfork. Now that's not much of a dip to buy, is it? I mean, I think that the downtrend is likely to push it down beneath this area. So we've got the bottom of the Bollinger Band here at 7,500. A nice square figure. Could come down to that level. I think that, given what we've seen with the RSI and the MACD, I think that it would want to come down a little further. So the next thing we've got to look at here is the 50 EMA, which is only another $50 below. Not really that much of a dip either, if you really think about it. So we've got the 50 simple here down at 7,369. Now that feels a little bit more appropriate, and then we've got the green cloud here, which would offer some resistance, some support for us also. So each of these levels are opportunities to buy. Now, given that the halving event is around the corner, and what that means is that Bitcoin at this current time has got a lot of anticipation of this big move, and I think the big move will come. Like I say, up to around into the 9,000s, I think is where the halving is going to take us to, before again another pullback after that area. Don't think we're going to 10,000 and above, but we could, but I don't think we are, given the state of the chart at the moment. And what I mean by that is when you look at the daily, what we see is we're above the green 50, but we're beneath the 200 and the 100 and the 242, all on the daily. These are all quite bearish things long term. Now this has been a good recovery from the bottom that we had back here. This is an epic recovery really, but we're still technically underneath some of these major important moving averages, and breaking above here and staying above here and being supported above here is the most important thing. And also we'd need some positive crosses. Now we've got a pretty tasty looking MACD at the moment, but the RSI, like I say, if we do receive a pump all the way up to around 9,000, and the MACD the RSI is going to be pretty overextended on the daily at that point, so I think it would probably come down. So these are the sort of things I'm looking at. What I'm also looking at is on the weekly, we're about to get a positive cross on the MACD here, and the weekly RSI looks pretty good as well. So this is going to show us that we could be entering, in the next few weeks. So after the halving has happened, and you get that big pump and dump. So long as the dump doesn't bring us down to our current levels now or lower, if we stay above 8,500 or so, or just around about 8,000, or pretty much at the level we're at right now, then we can claim bullish territory, and a bullish uptrend will be a long-term sustained thing. That's what I'm looking at. So it all looks bullish from the long term, or has the possibility to be bullish in the long term. It all depends on that dump after the halving, how significant that is. So things are looking bullish. And also on the daily, what I've noticed, which you don't really get very often, is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candles in a row on daily. Now, that's pretty rare. You don't really get that very often. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw that, to be honest. And the price action is not enormous. I mean, these are daily candles, but they're green all the same. So yeah, a pullback is definitely required. It's definitely needed. And it's statistically the most likely thing to happen right now. To get more than 7 green candles in a row. I mean, I don't know what the record would be for Bitcoin, but this has got to be one of those. You really just do not see these very often, and so a lot of people throwing their money into it right now, and obviously because of the halving. So I'm going to buy the dip. So if the dip happens, which it pretty much will do, I think it's going to be a very short and swift dip, because a lot of people will be looking to buy it up, because it will be a lot. I believe it. I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice. It's likely to be the last decent dip before the halving, I would expect. So, moving on from Bitcoin, so this is where we stand with Bitcoin, and remember, Bitcoin dictates the market. Where's the dip going to take things like Ethereum? Ethereum looking very, very strong. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So this is definitely needing to come down a little. The daily is not too overextended considering how much it's grown. 4 hourly, let's have a look at that. 4 hours actually, not a bit further to go, but again, it's trending with the rest of the market. So we're above all major moving averages with this bad boy here, and we've got a golden cross not too far away in the future. If we could hold our current price value or get back above there at any point soon, we're looking at some serious moves. But the downtrend, like I say, or should I say the pullback, where's it going to take us? First opportunities is going to be amongst the this area here, 181. I would probably say will be our first attempt to buy back. If that breaks down, center of the Bollinger Band is at 174, and then the green 50 is 171. These might be your areas for buying Ethereum. And again, I'm not your financial advisor. It's not financial advice. We'll be in a red cloud at the moment. A bit of a golden rule is never to trade within a red cloud. But we have had an Ichimoku cloud cross all the way back here. So this is where you would have wanted to buy it, at this level here, 141. And to be honest with you, it would have been a rocky ride. But technically, we're still in that uptrend. If for whatever reason we break down further than this red mark here, 168 or lower, and stay below there, we might end up having a negative cross on the Ichi cloud, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think it's relevant. Let's have a look on the weekly, just briefly, see the state of the weekly. It already got its cross. I think Ethereum is your best bet, to be honest with you. If you're going to buy something, you buy Ethereum. You don't really buy Bitcoin, even though that there's a halving. I think Ethereum is the one to have. It's my personal favourite alt, I can tell you that much. Matic, let's have a look at Matic. So Matic's still looking okay on the daily, but again the pullback will happen. We're in a red cloud at the moment, being rejected from the 200 simple, the 200 exponential. That is clearly the rejection where we are at present. If this pulls back, I would expect to see at least 1.3 cent, 1.4 cent, probably down to the centre of the Bollinger Band, 1.3 cent still. Bottom of the Bollinger Band could be a single cent. I find that quite unlikely that it will go down that low. Let's have a look at where we launched from here. 1.2 cent. Probably 1.2 cent would probably be where I would expect to see Matic fall down to at its very lowest. But again, this one kind of trends in its own little way. It's looking a lot like Ethereum's chart if you look at the pattern of it, but it's definitely different to Bitcoin's chart, doing its own thing there. But I would leave this one alone for the moment. I know it's a nice little diversifier, but a nice period of accumulation here. So to be honest with you, let's have a look at the MACD on the long run with Ethereum. Very much the same. So look at it with Bitcoin. They're all pretty much the same. Bitcoin's a little more sketchy than these guys. The money is better, definitely in the alts at the moment. Chainlink, extremely bullish, and definitely a different looking chart. It's almost like it's ahead of all the others in many ways. We never got our death cross. We've been bullish the entire time, even after this massive collapse. We've been bullish the whole way. For a pullback on this one, I really wouldn't expect too much more than about $3.10. To be honest with you, I think it's shown significant strength the entire time, despite the trials and tribulations of the entire market all last year and this year. It's continued to remain strong. I think this one, as choppy as the chart looks, is still bullish. It's still bullish. Yeah, there's pumps and dumps, but look, we get higher highs each time. So, massive pumps, massive dumps. But even when we dump, we recover quite well, and I would expect inevitably get higher highs over time. So, really good investment coin, I would say. Definitely a good diversifier. For a hodl coin, I like the look of it. So maybe if you were interested in this one, considering that we're still bullish, we've not had any death crosses on this whatsoever, even though the chart looks like a real mess, the moving averages haven't given it an opportunity to fall in on itself. It's come close. It came close here. It also came close quite here. But so long as we remain above the 200 EMA, which will be anywhere, well, it's moving up at the moment, but I'd say as long as we're above $3, everything's hunky-dory with this one. XRP, so I don't know if we have, I say the royal we, I've been trading this today, and the reason for it, I bought a load of it the other day, just simply because we have this descending trend that is looking a little bit weird there, but basically this is the trend that we spotted ages ago, and it's not just me, everyone's seen this one now. Rejection here, forcing the entire market down. It's been like that for over 2 years now. We had a break above it a few months ago, and we traded that one quite nicely, and we enjoyed that one, but then it broke down beneath it. We've had the opportunity to trade that one again today, and those of us who have traded it have pocketed a good 10% or so. I've sold out on that one now, sold my XRP, and I'll be waiting for this one to come back down again. Hopefully what I'll be looking for is for this to come down to this descending trend area here, and bounce on it. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this to remain as support and then give it another shot of buying it back. And the rule would be for trading this one, for me, my personal rule would be, so long as we hold above here, everything's good. Have a stop loss, below it. When we come down crashing beneath it, obviously don't go catching knives. Wait to see if the candle body is brought above here and closes above here on a daily. If it does, then I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to put on another long, and I'm going to see how far I can push it. I want to push it up to at least the 100 simple moving average, if not the top of this Ichimoku cloud. So those prices would be 21.7, so 21 cent 0.7, or if we're lucky we could make it up to 22.3 cent, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I do expect a pullback across the board, and these are the areas that I'll be looking at. So XRP could be great, Chainlink great long term, Matic a bit of a wild card, Ethereum you can't fault it, and Bitcoin the obvious choice because this is the chart that we're trading it on. Okay, so if you want to play it safe, play it with Bitcoin. And when I say play it safe, this is extremely volatile. Again, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. This is what I'll be doing. These are the coins that I'm most interested in currently, and these are the areas that I'll be looking to buy up before the halving. After the halving, and I mean almost directly after the halving, within half an hour to an hour at tops, I think it should have probably maybe even topped out, and I'll be selling, and I'll be waiting for that pullback. The reason I say that is that I know that a lot of people think that the halving is going to make it go crazy and continue up and never stop. I don't think that's going to happen. I think when you look at this situation we've got here, right, we broke down significantly, like the entire financial market has broken down massively, right? We fell down with it. We've recovered, well, not recovered, but we've bounced 100% now from our bottom. That is based on the halving, in my opinion. It's that the halving has priced this bounce in, and what we've seen here is in anticipation of that halving. The halving, like it happened before, yeah, you've seen things like Litecoin in the past. It went 400%, after the halving instantly. There was a lot less money involved with it back then. It doesn't take as much money to pump those sort of things to those levels. There's way more money involved now. It takes an enormous amount of money to pump things 400% now. For something that is, this price, we're talking, millions, hundreds of millions to do billions to make it pump 400%. It's not likely to happen. I think what's likely to happen will be a pump and a dump, and then a gradual increase in price thereafter, because fundamentally it's built-in inflation, isn't it? Scarcity will inflate the price over time naturally, but the event in itself will cause a pump and dump, and that's the way I'll be trading it. Look at what happened with Litecoin, look at what happened with Bitcoin Cash when their halvings happened this last time round. Bit of a non-event. So I'm trading it like that. I'm expecting a pump and a dump, and then a gradual increase back up again over time. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day, nice evening. Take it easy.